What's going on, everybody? Fed Architect here. Today we're going to do a little Overwatch hero guide with Zenyatta. I won't lie, Zenyatta is one of my favorite characters, so disclaimer, I might boast a little bit about him, but that's just the way it goes. He is what I consider a offensive support hero. He just falls under support hero, of course, but he is very offensive. He can deal out a lot of damage, probably a lot more than people think he can. And it may be actually why some people get surprised if they get killed by him at all. It's pretty cool. Now, Mercy is a much more powerful healer, I guess you would say, than Zenyatta, but he is more than adequate if you use him correctly of keeping your team alive during the battle. As long as you stay alive, you can keep your team alive and deal out damage. Great combination, more than I think any other support healer can do. But once again, my favorite support player, so I'm kind of biased maybe. Now with that, he comes with a couple of flaws, and they're a couple of big flaws really, but every hero has their flaws, and that's why you have to pick and choose when you use them and who to use. His flaw is that he is one of the weakest, well, actually, besides Tracer, he is the weakest character in the game in the terms of health. His base health is only 50, and he has a shield of 100, so basically he has 150, but the shield goes down quick. Nice thing about the shield, it is rechargeable, so take that into consideration when using him. And he has very low mobility. What you see at the start where he's floating around is what you're going to get. He doesn't have any boost, he doesn't have any dodge, so you're just going to have to take it for what it's worth, and that's where you have to be very cautious how you play. That's why a lot of people probably won't play him, because of his low damage and the combination of that with his low mobility. If you get caught out in the open, you are basically a meat popsicle. So let's talk about his weapons and his abilities real quick. His weapons and abilities are these. He has an Orb of Destruction, an Orb of Harmony, Orb of Discord, and his ultimate is called Transcendence. Now his Orbs of Destruction are really pretty powerful. That's his primary attack. And I say primary because I consider the Orb of Discord another attack, basically, secondary to what he does, but we'll get into that here in just a second. His Orbs of Discord have two fire modes. He has a primary fire mode, which is a single shot mode, and then he has a secondary fire, which is an orb volley. In the primary mode, when you fire the single shots, each one does 45 damage. Now, I don't know if you know that, but that's pretty comparable to a lot of the assault guys in this game, assault heroes, because if you look at Soldier 76, I think he does a 3.5 to a 17 per shot. He does more shots per second. Zenyatta only does 3 rounds per second, roughly. Still, 45 damage per shot. What's that, 135 that you can do in one go? Pretty good. And once again, like I said, 3 rounds per second. You have 20 shots that you can fire before you have to reload, or it reloads for you. And that reload time is going to take you 2 seconds, so be careful when you're in that. That's a pretty long reload time. The secondary fire that we talked about, the orb volley, it allows you to fire up to 5 orbs at once. Now you have to charge this, and by charging this, it takes 0.5 seconds to charge up each orb. That's a total of 2.5 seconds to fire off all 5 of them. Now you don't have to charge up all 5. You can fire 2 at a time, 3, 4. You just have to release it when it charges. Now this is going to be indicated by glowing orbs around your screen. When you get to 5, if you don't release the trigger, it's automatically going to fire. Or you can release it once you see it's there at 5. But like I said, you can also release it early, the firing trigger or firing button, and have, like I said, 3 orbs, 2 orbs, 1 orb. 1 orb makes no sense, and I'll tell you the reason why you don't want to do that is because 1 orb fired in this version, unless you are just in a panic mode, is only going to do 35 damage. So you're losing 10 damage every time. But with 35 damage for 5 orbs, you're doing 175 damage per shot. That also will take 2 seconds for that to reload, but once again, if you count in the 0.5 seconds to charge, 2.5 seconds total to fire all 5 orbs, and 2 seconds to reload, that's 4.5 seconds that you're going to take in between a shot and the next shot. I don't use it very often. It's one of those where I'm at a distance, I need to take out somebody like a turret. It's a quick fire, pretty simple to use. His Orb of Harmony is his healing orb. What they call it is it semi-auto targets your teammates. And what you have to do is you have to get your crosshairs near your teammate, and then they'll get a little blue box around them, and you can launch your Orb of Harmony at them, and it will track them down and follow them and go to them once you fire it. Now, if you have a whole group of teammates together, you kind of have to pick and choose. You have to aim a little more, but it will still lock on, and once you fire, you're good to go. And as long as you have line of sight, you will heal them at a rate of 30 health per second while the orb is on them. Once you lose line of sight, it will stay on them for 3 seconds, or you can take it off of them and transfer it to another one. It can only have one orb at a time on a person. So you can have an orb on one teammate. If you want to go and you need to heal another one, you can launch another orb and it will take it off the other teammate. One orb at a time, line of sight, 30 health per second, 3 seconds after line of sight. Pretty simple to use, really effective. 30 health per second is really pretty quick. The orb of discord is what I called, like I said, his secondary attack, and I call that because it's a damage orb. Once again, this one will semi-auto lock on to your target. Now, once again, you get their crosshairs near them, they'll light up, they'll get the box around them, you launch your orb at them, and it will track them down and lock on to them. Same thing, line of sight. After line of sight is lost, 3 seconds the orb will stay on them, and then after that time it will return to you. It will also go off of them once you launch it to somebody else, because it can only have one orb of discord at a time. So you can have one orb of harmony, one orb of discord. You can have both of them at the same time, but only one of each. Okay, so this is kind of important. It will not penetrate shields. So if Reinhardt has his shield up, it will not penetrate that and lock on him, nor will it lock on to anybody that is protected by the shield. Once he's down, you can launch it all day long. Same thing with Winston. If he has his dome shield up, you can't launch it through that. Now, when you get this onto an enemy, what it does is it increases the damage they take from projectile objects, which is basically just about almost every object in the game. It increases that damage by 50%. So let's just take Zenyatta's Orb of Destruction. 45 damage, add a 50% increase into that, and you're going to get about 67 damage, a little bit more, per shot landed from Zenyatta when you have an Orb of Discord on the enemy. Zenyatta's ultimate is called Transcendence. What this does is when you get your ultimate charged up, you hit your ultimate button, whatever it be a trigger, be a button, be a whatever. And it creates an aura around Zenyatta that will automatically heal anybody on your team that is in it, and it will fully generate your health as well. Now, while you're in this, you cannot use any other abilities, so you are just out there floating, but you are invulnerable. Nobody can shoot you, nobody can kill you. They can lock onto you all day, but they can't shoot you down. Now, I guess I kind of lied, because one thing can kill you. If Tracer has her pulse grenade, pulse bomb, whatever you want to call it, and she launches and it sticks on you, it can blow you up. That can still happen. But projectile objects can't do you any damage. And what this thing also does is, like I said, it heals your team, and it heals them at 100 health per second. So it's pretty instant, but they must be within the range of that aura. It's not a huge radius, but it's very useful for when you're escorting payload and stuff like that. So some things you want to remember with Zenyatta, just because of his low health and everything, you want to definitely stay in the back of your team as much as possible. I mean, you can launch those things, the orbs. You can launch all your orbs at a pretty long distance. Orbs of Destruction will go as far as you need them to, pretty much. Orbs of Harmony, Orbs of Discord will travel a great distance, and you'll be able to lock onto them from a lot farther away than you probably think you can. Which is helpful because you can stay behind the shields of like a Reinhardt or a Winston, or just back in the back and pop around the corner and launch one, whatever. It's a great tool to stay in the back. They're going to need you. Everybody's going to try to attack the healer. Stay in the back. Remember, the Orbs of Discord have no drop off, as they call it. So basically what that means, once you launch it, no matter how far away you are, as long as it's locked on the target, it is going to increase the damage by 50%. It doesn't lower damage the further away you are, so launch them all day. The orbs also have no cooldown, so when you're out there, use them. I mean, toss them around like they're freaking candy at Halloween. If you see one guy is going down to help, launch it. Even if the guy is a little low, you can come back. You can launch him back and forth all day long, as long as you have line of sight and you're alive. If you find yourself in a one-on-one battle, things are not going to look good for you, but what you need to do is you need to remember to launch your Orb of Discord at whoever you're battling, because that's going to increase your damage 50%, and just fire away. You are not going to outrun anybody in this game. I don't even think you can outrun Roadhog, and he is slow as hell. So launch the Discord, fire Orbs of Destruction, and hope for the best. And remember, whenever you're in battle, most of your health is shield, 100 of it. 100 of that 150 is shield, and if you start taking damage, find cover if you can as quickly as you can and let that recharge. It will recharge just like it does in Halo for Master Chief or for the Spartans or whatever, because once that goes down, you're done. And since Zenyatta is really involved in combat a lot, at least he is when I use it, and I'm sure if you're going to have a guy, you're going to use this guy, you're going to use him in combat. You're going to go and you're going to be active offensively. Your ultimate is going to charge it pretty quickly, so don't be afraid to use it. If you're escorting a payload somewhere and you're getting close to the payload to get to the checkpoint, launch that ultimate and your teammate around you can gather and you can move on in. They can still produce damage, but you won't take any damage, and they might, but you won't even notice it because it's going to heal the health back. So remember, this transcendence only lasts for 6 seconds. So once you launch it, you got 6 seconds to do whatever you need to do. If it's win a skirmish with your team, get that payload in, hold a point, whatever. After that 6 seconds is up, everybody's back being vulnerable, especially you the most. It's good also to team with support. If you see somebody using Mercy or Lucio, I have no problem as long as the rest of my team has already picked their heroes to be what we need. I have no problem picking Zenyatta to team with him. It's a great thing to have since he is offensive. It can do so much damage more than people think. Having him as a healer and Lucio or Mercy as a healer, perfect. Works great. Also, it's really great that hopefully your team will have somebody like a Reinhardt or a Winston, but Reinhardt's probably the best, which allows you to stay behind. You can launch your Orb of Discord through your team's shields, but you can't, like I said, you can't launch it at their team shields. So if you can stay back there, launch your Orbs of Harmony, Orbs of Discord, and your Orbs of Destruction, you can do really a lot of damage and be really helpful if you have a Reinhardt. So when using Zenyatta, I'm going to give you 4 heroes that you really need to be on the watch for, because these guys will take you out easier than most. Number 1 is Tracer. Even though she has low health, of course, we know with the speed and the boost that she has to jump around, she can get behind pretty easy. And with that high damage per second that she has, she takes Zenyatta out in a heartbeat. Number 2, Reinhardt. Yeah, he's great to have as a teammate, but he's also really bad to have on the other side because, as I said, you can't launch through his shields. So anybody behind him, anybody with him, you just have to either try to find your way around it or hope that your team takes his shields down. At that time, then you're good to go. Number 3, Roadhog. Roadhog has that chain hook combo, which I'm sure we'll see here in this video of mine. That if you get caught by it, because you can't move very fast, so you're not going to dart out of the way of it. And once he gets you and pulls you in with your low health, you're done. And the fact that he has such a high health to begin with makes him really hard for Zenyatta to take down on his own. Your Orb of Discord will help, but usually you're not going to take, you're really not going to take anybody one-on-one like that very often, but he is really bad with that chain combo. And the last one, number 4, is Widowmaker. And this is not so much because she's so powerful, but she's usually far away. If you can get your Orb of Discord on her and still be behind somebody or behind cover or whatever and pop out and take her down, that's great. But remember, if she only gets 1 shot on you anywhere, I mean, a body shot from Widowmaker takes you out. Alright, so now some heroes that you are a good counter against or are great to pair with would be tank heroes. I mean, it's really kind of strange, but you're really good at pairing with them and going against them. And I know I said they're kind of bad, but here's why it's good. It's good to pair with them, of course, because they're powerful. You can stay back. They can take more damage. You can work around them. They're basically a great meat shield, if you will. Bullet sponge or whatever you want to take. Well, it's also good for Zenyatta to go against him because when he launches that Orb of Discord and it adds that 50% increase in damage, it makes it easier for you to take down and your team to take down. That's who you want to attack first if you can, is go after the tank heroes. But of course, it also depends later on whoever is being the biggest pain in your teammates' butt. But tank heroes are the great ones to try to take out first. Another one, like I said, to pair with, and I said it as a support, is Mercy. Mercy is a great teammate to pair with. I've done it several times, and I honestly don't know if I've lost if I've paired with a Mercy, but usually I pick first because I'm impatient and I wind up being Zenyatta and then nobody else picks a support player. But Mercy is a great one to pair with if you're with a group of friends and you got a team going. I would do it in a heartbeat. And like I said, I know I said tank heroes, but Reinhardt is the #1 for me person to pair with. You may think not, but if you can get behind that shield and do your damage, launch your discord, it really does help your team. So if you're looking to be still that attack mode person, the assault person, but you still want to kind of help your team, they need to have that support player. I really think Zenyatta you can't go wrong with. He does get a level 3 star of difficulty because you have to play him a little differently than you would the other support players. I still think he's the best out there. I love playing him. So if you're looking to be, like I said, that assault player, but still help your team and heal, I think Zenyatta's a perfect choice. Alright everybody, so I hope you enjoyed this little guide to Zenyatta, and I'm going to produce more of them here later. We're going to go down the support and then we'll do the others. So I look forward to you next time when I look at Symmetra. Alright, take care everybody. Bye bye.